Hello, my name is Nicholas Delgado, and this is the first check-in for my video game development class. And today I will go over all of my sprites, game objects, and the associated code with them. So to immediately start, you can see here we have the wise man as our NPC, the dentist as our enemy, gifts as our items, an elevator as the elevator, and at the bottom you see a little UI. And then finally our tiny 3x3. Obviously, scaling is an issue. I'll cover that later on, but it was giving me some trouble, and every time I made them bigger, it would lower the quality. So I just left them at their default values. Um, if you can't see it, I'm sorry about that, but just know it's done. To preface, before I even get into anything, I included a README, and these are all of the sources I was looking at to help create this code. I listed all of them, citation, YouTube, the book as well, plus the slides. So to get into the models first, here's the code for the dentist. All these models are just bare bones, so I'm just gonna blitz through them real quick. Let's move this down a little bit. There we go. Dentist. Here's the elevator. Here's the present. Here's the UI. And here's the wise man. And ToeJam, he has the most amount. That's because I gave him movement since, I felt like just having him go in one direction was not serving him any justice. So I just made a little movement here. Then in our update, this is where it tracks his position, timesing it by the speed and the global seconds that have passed. Yes, get anim key from direction, just bases off the XY axes, so that's that. And then our next models is the animation one, where all the magic happens for this. And it all comes from this dot add animation formula that we have created. So as you can see here, first we take ToeJam, then we put it here, and then which animation, I guess, yeah, animation we want to do. So we have idle, and then how many milliseconds do you want it to loop through, or each frame to constantly cycle through loop. And in here, that's where all this comes in. It's pretty much what I just said. Um, Scaling was a bit of an issue, obviously. I had to look this one up because if I just left it as underscore scale, I was getting a bunch of errors, plus this being float scale. So I looked on a blog and it told me to do it like this, equals vector 2.1, which is basically equals 1. And Visual Studio just gave me these two as freebies, so I just clicked tab and that was that. We come down here, more math within the updates, and then in our draws, this is where we draw our sprite batch. Basic stuff. You see our content pipeline here, all the PNGs related. For our managers, there's only two we gotta look at, as the input manager and animation manager are for next week. So game manager, real simple stuff. Create new for each of the models, update them, draw them, boom, done. Tile manager, uh, you can see on my little note I made right here. Very simple, just use the code that was provided from class. Changed up a couple of the names for clarity on my end, such as rows and columns to height and map width. Pretty easy. This is where tiles comes in. You can see rectangles. Leave this here. That's pretty much all that. Yes, we have globals. This is where I do my game time. We also get our total seconds, content, sprite, all that. Then finally, we have game one. So right off the rip, I made my display into this since it puts it right in the middle of my screen and it's not too big, not too small, perfect for me, easy. We load up our game manager, come down to load content. We see our sprite batch, all that. Obviously, we load up our tile map that we have over here. We create a new tile set. We make it what is it? 8 pixels since my tiles are 8 by 8. So that's that. Then we come down to our draw and update. You can see our game manager and then my globals.update, which was the one I showed before. And obviously drawing all the managers. So that should be pretty much it for my first check-in for ToeJam and Earl, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.